If LA loses tonight in Dallas, they would fall out of the play-in tourney since the Spurs own the tiebreaker with them. So this is really another important game. For the Los Angeles Lakers. All of them are at this point with 8 regular season games left. Hi, Brian Windhorst, finally back with us here on SportsCenter. So put that aside. Let's talk about the other LA team, the Clippers, currently in the play-in tournament as the 8th seed. And how about one of their stars, Paul George, out for 3 months with that torn UCL in his right elbow? What's the latest you're hearing on PG-13?
Yeah, so he is going to likely be making his return after missing 43 games for the Clippers tonight, and they need him. They're on their longest losing streak in 3 years, and they're ramping up they're pretty much locked into the 8th spot. So they're ramping up for that play-in game. So he will be back, and they just need him right now. They're struggling at times offensively. You know, he really was dealing with that elbow injury dating back to early December, and he tried to come back from it and had a short circuit, and then was able to, avoid surgery. So a big moment for the Clippers tonight. Zion Williamson, he is still working one-on-one. The Pelicans are on a long road trip throughout the West Coast for the next week or so. He will be able to stay and do some work one-on-one. But with just 7 games left, it is still very unlikely that we see Zion Williamson in the regular season. And then they've got a mountain to climb just to get into the postseason.
Right. He last played, if anybody knows this, it's Brian Windhorst. For those of you at home, May 4th. Last year, 329 days ago, is the last time we saw Zion Williamson play in an NBA game. How about the guy drafted 1 spot after Zion in 2019, John Morant, missed 5 straight games now with a sore right knee. What can you tell us about Morant's status, Brian?
Yeah, Sage, he's going to be out for at least another 10 days as they try to let it calm down and get ready for the postseason. He first hurt this back in late February, came back and then re-aggravated it a couple of weeks ago. And, the thing is, the Grizzlies are so good without him, 18-2. They're in great position to get the number 2 seed, so they can afford to wait for him to come back. And look, Ja has said don't worry about it. Taylor Jenkins, the coach, has said don't worry about it. I'm going to go ahead and worry about it because I don't like when my star player misses several weeks in the end of the regular season. But they say he should be back and ready to go for the playoffs. I guess I'll trust him.
At this point, that's all we can do, right? You mentioned 18-2. It really is an incredible statistic. And then the last 5 that he's missed, also 5-0. And I know that was an issue, a thing, and the fans were booing him when he came back and they lost. But John Morant, as important as someone gets to their team, which is why he was mentioned in the MVP race throughout this season. John Morant, as well as Joel Embiid, he's been the front runner pretty much, though. That could be changing, though, Brian. So right now with this race, where do we stand?
So today, the latest and last edition of Tim Bontemps' straw poll came out, and this is the most legitimate look at the MVP race that exists, Sage. This is Tim talking to 100 likely voters. There are only 100 voters. This is where they are. For the first time this year, Nikola Jokic has zoomed past Joel Embiid into first place, and it's a strong first. 62 first-place votes. I would say a good 75 to 80% of the voters or the people polled in this poll probably have an MVP vote. Certainly I was one of them. Jokic has had a dominant March, Sage, and I think that is probably why he has gone forward. He's averaged 29 points on 61% shooting in March. He had a terrific performance just last night in a triple-double through 3 quarters in a win in Charlotte. So he is definitely in a strong position to be the latest repeat winner of the MVP.
Wow, and it's funny because we've been talking about so many other names, including even Chris Paul all season long. But
it's going to be, let me tell you something right now.
Yeah.
It is going to be Embiid or Jokic. Anybody else that says anything, this poll has been consistent for months. And right now, it's Jokic.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.